What up? Zach Bradshaw, long-winded guy, back with my first trading journal in a minute. I think it's like number 30 or 31 or something like that. Could be number 21, but um, it's been a minute since I made one of these videos, and obviously I'm doing like the tackiest thing you could possibly do on one of these videos is just like showing this account. It's not an astronomical amount of money, but for some people this might seem like I'm like showing off. So really not what I'm doing. I'm really just trying to document this for myself and for my family, friends, my assistant currently, and eventually my sons. But this is just another dude talks about charts in his wife beater video. So you see that despite other videos on this channel about how useless certain shitcoins may be, despite their ridiculous price action lately. You can see that I have in this account added some Chainlink, Ethereum, Uniswap, whatever, based on not so much the fundamentals, even though I am familiar with most of these, what they're doing. Well, at least half of them, what they're doing. These buys were made based on the way that the charts looked. So I bought Link when it looked like it was a good time to buy Link. I bought Ethereum when it looked like it was a good time to buy Ethereum or Ether. Uniswap, Balancer, etc. I actually sold out of Balancer because it broke my stop loss, and then bought back in when that was obviously just a stop hunt movement and not, didn't really look like. Well, let's move this over here. Didn't really look like the like it was really going to go down. It looked like it was going up. So I got back in on the other side, took a little loss on the first trade, but I'm not mad that I got back in because I think I put like 50 bucks in a balancer, maybe ended up putting like 75 total or something like that, but it certainly made money for me. It's well in the green, and maybe I should have put more money in it, but I don't know these well enough. So that's why, part of why we're pushing out all these posts on playing markets first, and then we're going to do something similar for another brand I have called Truth and Blockchain, or another brand. Does this even have a site up yet? Let's see, Truth and. I don't think so, but it might have some type of template on it. It looks like there's nothing because it's taken forever. Well, it has a site. It just doesn't have anything added to it yet. Is this? Yeah, I don't want to poke around too much, see what's on there, but basically we're going to do something similar with that site. That's going to be more um, based around just the cryptocurrency projects and like what makes sense, because blockchain is really just a buzzword. But some blockchains, when used properly, are useful. It's just kind of most cryptos are crap. Um, Not necessarily bad trades or bad to buy just because they're crap. In this fool ranting on the internet's opinion, right? But um, I'm going to go through some of the charts of the. I'm going to go through probably all the charts of the coins that I hold and have made trades on. I'll probably actually also look at when I made these trades, and I might even document that here because when I started making these videos, the intention was to make them more frequently and stay on it, but I've been working on lots of other things that are using up my brain power, especially like getting this going and getting Truth and Blockchain set up and some of the other things that will go with those. Wishing more and more I would have played this bounce because this was an obvious selling area right here, and I just didn't sell anything, and then these were obvious buy areas right here, and this is annoying to look at. But let's move some of these ranges around, establish some new lines and what I think matters. Do I want to start deleting all the way from the bottom? No, we'll keep these in for now because they're not really in the way for the most part. And then let's look at the last time that I bought Bitcoin, for example. So now that I'm in the right place in Coinbase, here you can see I had some buys down here. I've been buying basically since 56 and only 56,000, basically only been adding positions. At a certain point, I know you can see this in some of my other videos, I took a chunk of my Bitcoin, threw it into basically my savings account for crypto in one of my paper wallets, and then basically was leveling myself out to 2K here. And then what I did is I added $500 worth of cash because I was like, oh no, I need to add more cash because this thing is going to keep going up. And even though I just put some in savings, I want to continue to add right now because the consolidation was just so freaking obvious that we were going to continue. So freaking obvious, right? That was just my opinion. I ended up being right, so I can say it was so freaking obvious, right? But basically, from a $2,500 base, you saw my account value at the beginning of this video. So it's gained 20% in not very much in like the last month or two, and I've been very certain about this price volume or about this price action to the point that I've almost asked like I've almost made a fund over this because it's just too obvious, and it annoys me that some of my family isn't playing it or isn't able to play it in the way that they should be because this could be the end of the dollar as we know it. And you should at least have some skin in the game, right? Just like take this 20% while they're passing it out. Sell the tops better when it's an obvious top, like, or an obvious selling point, not necessarily a top here because this could just blow right through and this volume is getting pretty strong. So we'll see how this, bounce or whatever plays out. But these buys are all looking really good right now. So if, even if we just take the top one, let's say 61.5 from over here, and we go to the top, and let's say I had sold this top a little bit better. Let's say 61.5. Right, that was a 5% move that I could have just sold out large portions of my Bitcoin with, and then gone ahead and bought this bounce for another 2% move and actually locked in some of that profit. Whereas right now I'm 0% cash, which I'd have liked to get some cash out right here in terms of my Bitcoin position. And maybe that's part of why I didn't do it, because maybe I didn't actually want to get cash out right there. Maybe I just wanted to move into Ethereum based on the charts. And it's like, oh, do I want to look at all these charts at once? Do I want to just let it ride? Because, there's different levels of effort. And from where we're at right now, you can let this thing ride for the next 5 years. So you can just add cash, if you're talking about Bitcoin and maybe a few of the other top coins. But in terms of, this move, obvious winner, have very obvious stop loss areas that are still basically like in the money, right? So I guess not that obvious now that this thing is broken down. But as this came up, I should have had a stop loss right here, which would have, locked in profit. Maybe had stop losses. Right, it would have been difficult for me to set stop losses here. It would have made more sense for me to put a limit sell up here because 65 was an obvious selling area. So as this thing's come down, now, there's a fairly obvious, we're looking at a 1 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour in terms of closes. So we have a good little, I'm just gonna go ahead and plot this one. Got that skinny one for me? Yep, okay. Right, so we have and you know what, don't want to make that a fat zone. Man, that's just such a big zone. To have as a zone, maybe I will, let's see where the 12 hours at. Man, that's such a good looking 12-hour candle, boy. Oh, this could be, basically pull back over, essentially, or not pull back over, but it could be pull back over, or this could be the new. Yeah, I'm definitely putting it in a line right here. I'm making it a little thicker than that last one because I like to trade the 12-hour chart. It treats me very well because I ain't got time to trade these all the time. So here's a smaller range. Let's just see what the percentage down move is on this. I don't care as much about the up move, but let's see what the percentage down is between those two as a stop loss. So that's a little bit tricky because this might be my area where I would sell, set a stop loss here, and then but this would be my first rebuy level. I don't really like that. Maybe let's move it down a little bit, but no, I liked it better right there. Thick lines touching both this wick and then these, this close and open right here. So I want to go ahead and get rid of / move around some of my other lines. I want to take this one up, actually. Yeah, I like that a lot. And I'm going to bump that one up in thickness just a little bit. This line, I don't care about anymore at all. and that actually makes this one easier to thicken up. Let's go ahead and put it on 3, and I will see. This is just like one wick, but it's got this support over here. I mean, I have a hard time making these lines that are close to the all-time highs and setting preliminary support, making these like thick, important lines because they seem very easy to break through. And we could, any of these lines in here could become very important as we come back down and set in a new base and blah, 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 continue on, you know, if that's what we're going to do. But I really like this line. Most of the ones after that are not doing nearly as much for me. So I'm going to move this one up just a bit, and then I'm going to actually make it less significant. There's probably some sort of zone in here that I'm just not seeing. Oh yeah, there's obvious areas now that I've reduced the clutter. Where did that one go? Okay, so let's, yep, I like that. Looks quite nice, and I'm actually gonna make that one thicky thick because that one looks like a, I don't know, Crown might call that a point of control. That looks important for that level to be held. 55.5. But this one's also important as well in terms of um, current trending behavior. This one, it's been in for a while. Man, that's hard to delete it completely. I mean, but I might as well. It's not. Let's just make it skinny and get rid of this one instead. And then what do we have? We could have this area. We have this area. Man, they both kind of work, don't they? They also kind of don't work at all. So I'm just going to get rid of those as well. So I'm not worried about that area. And I might put in a zone somewhere in here, but I'm probably just going to do this. This looks pretty nice. What about this one? That one looks better. So, and I say it looks better because I like opens and closes more than I like wicks. And maybe this one is a zone that I'll put in like right here, but doesn't look like I'm in need of any of these whatsoever. I could probably sort this range out a little bit better, but I don't even want to look at that and like think about those. Where that's all the way down, and if it's going that way, then I'm probably might change some of my overall biases and, you know, need to redo my lines completely. So I like the way this one is looking for now, so I'm gonna go ahead and oh, that is just the okay. So that one saved this chart exactly how it is. So that's that one. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I think the next biggest position is Link. I think it was Uni at first, Uniswap at first, but no, I think I just keep adding to Link because I know what Link is about, and its chart was just looking so good and so obvious. And so here's my link trades. They're gonna look like I'm way smarter than I look for my Bitcoin trades, but let's see. So my last buys, right? My first buys since now. This is a right. This is a terrible sell, right? If you look at my link, is my face blocking that a little bit? Maybe so. So if you look at this like years ago or a year ago or whatever, I sold all my link for a little bit of loss just because it was boggling my mind, all the coins I was looking at, blah, 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 blah. So I consolidated down into Bitcoin. I'm surprised this link was even on Coinbase a year ago. Time flies with this stuff. I guess I've been into crypto for 3 or 4 years now. That's amazing. Now, my recent buys were at 29, 28, 27. That obviously doesn't look like that good of buying positions if they were continually going down. And then I got a smaller one at 32. Now this thing is at 42 or 41. And so there's, you know, a nice look to this freaking chart. And so I was a buyer all in here. Basically, as long as I could draw some sort of uptrend or yeah, uptrend. As long as I could draw some sort of trend line like this, like at first the trend line was, I mean, it came and broke it a little bit. At first my trend line was like this. I'm sure in one of these videos I had this ascending triangle in for chain link, right? And then it broke it, right? And it Okay, so we could have a new ascending triangle that, might reach a conclusion down here, but none of that really matter. I continue to load up probably once it poked through here and then it came back down again and then I've, basically just been riding it. Looks like it's like going to 60 or something like that. I mean, right, I could pretend like I'm some sort of whiz with this stuff and throw on a Fibonacci. Should I do this from the closes? Yeah, I like closes. Well, yeah, let's just do it all the way the length here. Oh, that's not the right one. No, where's my Fibonacci extensions? So I got to throw on an extension right here and go from, let's just say, wick high to wick high to see if I can come up with some levels, right, of potential resistance. So maybe up here around 46 or 48, may even put a limit order in on this one just because my percentage is getting high and I don't want to like eat this crash, right? What was this crash right here? Not all that interested in eating a 41%, 45% down move after, right, making some good gains. Let's just pretend like my buy price was 32, even though let's just say 31 to be fair, right? It's way lower than that. But already I'm sitting on a 33% move on this. It would be a shame if I let this, if I gave all that away, right? So it's about time to start locking in profit, maybe even on this candle, probably. Do I want to sell a little chain link right now? Oh, man, Bitcoin chart just looks kind of good. I don't, well, Chainlink does its own thing. I will almost certainly after this video be seeking some profits here, whether that is putting in a limit order up here around this extension very tentatively, or whether that's selling something here, or putting in a stop loss to make sure that I like at least sell all of my Chainlink at $37, right? I bought it all below 32, right? So I'll take that. Even though I didn't get the full gain, at least I locked in my profit, right? So if that were to happen, obviously my 2,500 that became 3K would not be a full 3K, right? I will be selling out pieces of it. In this case, a third, I believe. Selling out almost a third of it. Or I'll be selling a chunk of a third of it because I wouldn't sell out of all of it, right? But I'd sell out of a chunk of a third of it um, to lock in profits and maybe, around 28K, right? But that wouldn't lock in all my profits at 28K unless I sold all the way back into cash across all of my assets. So the main thing is just making sure that I take a winning trade, right? So if I come back over here and I want to look at this and I say, okay, if we just wanted to look at these as individual trades, I could go ahead and cash out this trade and make it a winner, right? And so now this position, this 8 chain link that I have here, I've already made money off of it, 20% or more off of it. Even if I just sold all 8 of that right now, that would be about almost half of my position of chain link. And so I wouldn't have as much exposure to the upside where this may go to 48. Now, is waiting on that 48 really worth it to me? Is 48 really where I think this thing is going to stop, right? These are all questions that I want to ask myself because that's just the first Fibonacci extension. If you are actually using Fibonacci extensions as your projected targets, well, there are higher ones above that, and they're actually, right, this is still not all of them because some of these are just not in here, right? So I could just have all of these in here if I believe them, right? There's a bunch of different levels we could try to find. I like the default ones because it's all about public opinion, what prices are, and so use the default ones because most people are going to use the defaults, and that's probably where other people are going to be setting in their sell levels, and we can all sell together and push the price back down for a nice buyback at 32. I would love that. That would be amazing. I would definitely buy that line. Now, speaking of lines, let's put these levels to work for me because they're not exactly where I want them to be anymore. Let's get rid of that. Let's hit that and zoom in a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and we are looking at the 12-hour. I'm going to go ahead and push that one up because it just matches what I like a little bit better. Man, this one's about fine. I'm going to keep it because it's really like the last wick before the up. Really kind of this one is the last wick. So because there's no reason to hold that line where it is, I'm probably going to take it lower. Let's see how it looks here. You know, like this is a drop down point, as the open close here, as the the surge 2 point. Looks like it's getting some play around here. Wicks, 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 wicks. Yep, and basing. Yeah, I love that one, and I'm actually going to make it a little bit thicker. Yeah, these levels are super obvious. I love this chart. It's so easy to read. Um, Damn, I don't even have to touch anything else. This is amazing. Okay, so um, I could try to put up some tentative levels up here, but I'm not really even interested in it. I guess what I could do, that's funny. I have too much knowledge. If you know what a kudu is, it's a type of antelope or whatever, and like that sounded like a pun to me when it wasn't a pun at all because it just what you could do. It's not actually a whatever. Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and put in a line here. I'm gonna do it super thin. I'm not really in the habit of doing this, and I'm actually because of that, I don't even want it to be my typical horrible overbearing yellow. I want to make it teal, just so I'm like, about that line. No, I actually hate that even worse. Let's just keep it yeller. Keep it yellow, and do I want to just leave the Fibonacci's here? The Fibonacci's, okay, if I want to leave the Fibonacci's here, that's fine. Okay, yeah, I like all this. And now, okay, that is giving me some nice confluence. Oh, well, obviously, because that's where I did the drawdown from, obviously. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and save this chain link chart and think it looks very nice. Very likely to sell out here. Hopefully, by the time I get to this video, it's already pumped one more good time up into the 46 to $47 region. And nice. Thank you, smartcontracts.org. Excellent domain name buy that their admin team put together. So the next on my list I think is Uniswap or Ethereum. Ether. Yeah, let's do Uniswap. It's probably changing which one is more important over the course of this video. Oh, and here we have some lines that definitely need changing. Yep, obvious area here. We can make that one somewhat thick, not too super thick. I still kind of like these levels and kind of don't. This one is not as pretty as a chain link chart, but it's still very bullish. I mean, what does the weekly look like on something like this? Jeez. Well, that's not telling me anything. Straight up for weeks at a time. Okay. Weekly, what's the 3-day doing? I wish I had a 2-day in Coinigy. Okay. Man, this chart looks fucking amazing. Jeez. Jeez, bro. Okay, so we're not populating anything else yet. Man, I don't even look at this chart is gorgeous. I mean, it's looks choppier on the 12 hour, but man, this chart is bullish AF. Okay, I was sitting here thinking, like, this is one of the main ones I was thinking, oh, I might need to sell out of this a little bit. But this chart looks fantastic. I don't really care where it comes down to if it continues to look like this. It's like I could leave these in here, right? It could be a zone, but it's not needed because we have these ones, and they make a little bit more sense. Did that not copy for me? Oh. Yeah, okay. So I like that a lot more. Maybe I would thicken these up, or will thicken these up once we get back to these levels, and maybe I'll even add in some levels, add those same levels back once we get down here. I don't care that much about this level anymore, but I do care a little bit more about this close. So let's thin that one up. Yeah, I like that one, that level too, and I can even raise it. Well, it's kind of a little zone in here like most of these are. I mean, it's kind of like it just needs to be a thick line right there. Okay. Man, that's just such a massive zone. Let's make this one smaller because it's a close. This one, yep, keep it as is. As far as the upside goes, I'm not all that worried about any of it. So it can stay how it is right now. I don't need anything up here. I mean, maybe. That's a 12-hour close. Is it the same place as the daily close? It is. So yeah, I think I will just put in a little topper in here. It's really, it shouldn't be a topper really. It should just be like an alert, right? I should just do this when the price goes up here. Maybe buy again or maybe sell, whatever. But um, I'll just go ahead and put in the line because I've not been consistent enough getting back and looking at these. But this chart's good to go. Yet again, it looks like a great buy. If I wasn't already 100% in, if I would have sold some of my freaking Bitcoin at that 65, I would definitely be buying this one and Link. Well, not necessarily Link. I'd be buying this one anticipating something like Link. It's going to play out differently because this is a sharper incline, it has less price action history, and it's doing a little bit more BART chart action where this is clearly whales playing games here, just like selling a lot and then buying a lot. Maybe not because the volume spikes, at least on Coinbase, were not that high, but that's what that looks like to me is a BART chart. Is things should have just been going up like this, but somebody forced the price down because they knew it was going to balance out, and now it's kind of above its. If you drew a median line in here, it wouldn't actually, to do it right, it wouldn't be a straight. Oops. It wouldn't be a straight line like this, right? It would really be like some sort of curved line, right? And I just realized as I was doing this that I suck with these curved line thing, right? But some sort of logarithmic, whatever the heck, right? That's usually what fits best. Like if you make a best fit line for this stuff, it tends to be some sort of logarithmic curve, right? So I'm not quite sure how this is going to end up, and right, this thing could be steeper or whatever. Like I'm not putting equations to it, so that is in no way exact, and neither is putting equations to it exact in the first place. But hopefully I've saved this chart enough times not to lose it. Uniswap, not as close to selling as Link, but I do want to see where I actually bought it because I'm certainly not sure. Where is it in my thing here? There we go. And looks like my buys for this one were all, 31 or below, 32 or below. So I'm not quite as keen about selling out on this one, but I am more likely to put in, for the way that I lock in profit on this one, to put a stop loss on probably one of these areas somewhere in here. Just based on the way the chart looks, it could very easily still remain bullish and come back down here and play around for a while, which could return it down to my buy levels or even lower, right? This looks like a perfectly legitimate place for this thing to bounce later on, especially if it breaks through this level again. I mean, it disrespected my first buy level I had in here. And the only reason I'm keeping this on the chart is to remind myself to go eventually look at why I put a box there instead of lines. But I would like to lock in my profit, at least from 31 to 34. So let's look at that, something like 10%. But let's just say from here to here, right? If I lock in that line, that's 10%, right? Excellent. There's no reason for me not to keep that and, even just taking a move to a different coin, right? I don't have to stay in this coin and try to buy these lines or anything. I would buy the next chart that I like the way that looks and think it's, more likely to break out than not, or maybe just retain my money on a downtrend once the whole train starts going the other direction. So, which is really the more important side of the market cycle, right? Not to lose your money when everything goes down, right? It's paper gains mean nothing. If you do not sell back into dollars or buy something else with it, then you didn't actually make anything. So this one I'm more keen to probably like sell this line. I might even sell a little bit at the if it breaks below this close or if it closes like a 4 hour below this close. I'm not sure exactly how I'd look at that when it came to it. Definitely not going to do that on this video, and you should not follow my advice because I'm not an expert trader. I'm just paying enough attention to be able to throw some money at some crap when it's obviously going up and everybody's making money on it, right? I'm not super genius at all, at least when it comes to trading yet. Now, that's enough on this chart. Let's look at my buys and sells on it. So, not very much history. We're good on this one. I think I've saved this for like the 6th time. And let's look at the next chart on my, or the next coin on my list. Ethereum has now bounced above Uniswap because they are basically about the same levels. Ethereum had some really nice buys on that recently because it was obvious it was going to perform a little bit better than the Bitcoin chart. So I went ahead and when I put that 500 in, I put in more in Ethereum, I feel like, than I usually would have. It still doesn't look like I'm putting that much based on my fee percentages. But you can see these last buys that I had here, and right, the buys before it were all in the 1800s. But these last buys in the last, 2 weeks have been, around like 2100, let's just say, is the base. And if we come and look at the percentages here, we're doing better than 10%. So 15%, right? And that's if I sold right now, whatever. And that is obviously beating Bitcoin, or I'm not sure if it beat Bitcoin over that same time period, but it was a very obvious halfway consolidation, breakdown, doji candle, not enough, not looking dire enough once it came back up here for me to doubt it. So it was all of this area looked like a buy area with some sort of stop. I mean, I wasn't even that worried about stop losses. I mean, it could have come back down all the way down here and I would have felt like it's still going to continue upwards even though it came down here. So I would have potentially held these losses on Ethereum differently than I would have held it for other altcoins, for example. More similar to how I would have held it for Bitcoin, because this thing has some room to run and it's pretty obvious as well for this one that, right, it's probably, looks like it's on its way to like 28 or something like that. I could do another, and let's just do it just to have it on my chart, right? Let's go ahead and do another Fibonacci extension, and let's actually move that. Let's just delete that Fibonacci extension on and do the next one. From here to here. Oops. And so I guess we are actually reaching this next level in terms of these. So maybe this is a sell area, but man, this 12-hour candle, this is definitely a 12-hour, right? Yep, I think it is. Yeah, this 12-hour candle is extremely bullish. I mean, like all we have is green candles, and then this one is like has just a massive wick to the bottom, covers, not the full body of the one below it, but all of its closing area. And now we're trending. I like expect this next candle to pop up here or something. So I think we might see utter disrespect for this level, but I will plot it for learning's sake. Come on, come on. What is going on? Why will this not work? Horizontal line. What was I misclicking? That was incredible. Okay, so now I'll put 2 of those lines in. We'll see how those play out. I don't really care that much for the Fibonacci's yet because it's like they always work. I mean, it's just, oh, this level or that level. I mean, it's just too much. So, right, you see how this one supported this area, right? This Fibonacci on the downside supported that area as it came back up. But that's about it for Ethereum. I mean, well, let me just double check on my lines. Yeah, I could definitely put in some more lines here, though, for sure. This one is the most important line I see on the chart for me. It's really like the only one even worth adding. I could probably delete some, but they all look good. They just need to be de-emphasized a little bit, some of them. I mean, that one's worth keeping too. I'm not as keen about these. I'd rather have this one. About like that. Could maybe thicken it up. Yeah, let's just thicken it up just a little bit. Just a little bit, put on that level 3. And aside from that, I like the way everything looks, right? I have lines down here that I probably don't really need or whatever, but I'd just rather not redraw them later. And, they have a little bit more historical significance because I've made them a while ago. So I will give them a little bit more credence as things come down as opposed to just being having too much emphasis on the more recent price action. So I like that. This one is now maybe making me think that I might sell out a very small amount of Ethereum somewhere up here, especially because there's no really good area for a stop loss. I mean, I could put a small one here, but it's super tentative to the point that I almost want to change its color or whatever else, and so I'm just going to delete it. But this 12-hour candle may give me some, may have some significance to it. But if we take that to a daily, then I believe that candle's going to not even show up, right? So this just looks like trending motion, and this could easily, be close to the second to last candle or the last candle on this run for Ethereum. So there's Ethereum, Uniswap, Balancer, Cardano, Compound. Don't really care as much to look at these, so I'm actually not going to in this video because it's already been 40 minutes of me sitting here talking, and I would rather move on to the next thing and make sure that I follow my own plan from this video, right? I want to make sure that I get these cells in properly, not just, I mean, I want to look at Cardano. Let me not neglect Cardano completely. But this is the Cardano versus Bitcoin chart. It looks quite strong. So I may be selling some Bitcoin into Cardano. Kind of wish I would have done that at the 65 high. But let's look at Cardano versus BUSD. What? Okay, so here's Tether, US dollar Tether. Okay. And wow, this chart looks way really good. I don't want to draw lines in it because I haven't already, and I realize that my ADA chart patterns is drawn on Bitcoin. I'm probably just going to change this chart, and then I guess that's what would happen if I mess with this right now. But I'm not sure I want to be on Binance either for this one, so I will come back to how I want to chart Cardano later on. But I really like the way this chart looks, and very well may be moving more of my position into this one because it looks like it's about to go to fucking $3 or something ridiculous. What ridiculous? Not that ridiculous. Let's real quickly on this one also take a Fibonacci extension from wick to wick. So 180. I'm likely to sell something there myself because my buys are at like 120 or something for this one. Um, it definitely went lower than my buys. So I bought it like 120 somewhere in here, something like that, and then it went. Where are these? Huh? I don't think these. Maybe I bought multiple times. I'm not sure. I don't feel like looking at it because it's just gonna make the video longer, and we're already like 39 minutes in, and I'm so tired of sitting here looking at these charts right now, and especially talking about it. I'd rather sit here and look at them and flip through more charts and not explain all this stuff. But I need to, as I update my charts, I need to keep them on video for myself and for the squad. So if you really listen to me talk about these crypto charts in this freaking nails on chalkboard way as I struggle through Coinigy version of TradingView and looking at my different little cells and even my actual account, super tacky. And you have questions that you think are worth asking me, then go ahead and ask them. I'll be happy to answer. But other than that, I will see you in the next one. Peace.